So that's Janhvi for all of you guys. Janhvi is almost hot off the press. She's actually come to meet us after shooting something that's an upcoming film. She's very excited for that. And the reason she's excited because is the fact that she's going to be learning cricket in the next film. After learning the dynamics of probably flying a plane, battling how to save your life in a freezer, now you're holding a cricket bat and trying to figure that out. Tell me, how exciting is it for you to learn these new things as an actor?
It's very exciting. Firstly, hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming, and I'm so excited to meet all of you all. So getting back to your question, I think it's very exciting. I think it's one of the reasons that I love what I do so much. I think by nature I'm a little bit of an escapist. So I find a lot of joy and comfort in losing myself in characters and in different journeys. And I mean, how many people can say that for my work I learned how to fly a chopper. I sat in a chopper and went and did re-stimulations of different sortie missions, or I was locked in a freezer for 21 days at minus 10 degrees, and now I'm learning cricket, and I've had the privilege and the honor to learn from, I think, one of the best coaches in the country, Mr. Abhishek Nair and Vikrant, who coached the KKR team. And I did a cricket camp where I got to spend a lot of time with DK, who we all love, I'm sure, and I got to watch Hardik Pandya and his brother Krunal train, and I just have so much respect for cricketers now, because it's a skill set that I think it's very difficult and it takes a lot of commitment.
I really like the names you've dropped because these are all heavyweights in the sport. They know what it is like to play that particular sport. I was just telling our guests that, you know, while we finished 20 years at the Conclave, you managed to clock in 5 years. You finished 5 years this particular year. The number might be a single-digit number, but in those 5 years, you managed to sort of play every possible character, show every possible emotion. I want to speak to you a little bit about bursting the bubble, bursting the myth. Did you have any preconceived notion about the industry that now when you look back and you were like, oh, I was told it is so-and-so, or I was told that you have to navigate in a certain way, but I learned something different. What has been your learning in these last 5 years?
I think so much of the industry has changed while in these past 5 years also. I think when I was starting out, the timing of my first film was simultaneous with this huge social media boom, and the kind of difference that was making in our industry. The kind of importance I think publicity and perception building was given before me was minimal. But all of a sudden, you know, with the emergence of social media stars and PR activities, all of these things started taking a lot more weightage. So I've always been hearing my whole life from my parents and from the people around me, and I've come from the notion that sir niche rakh ke kaam karoge, mehnat karoge, wo hi kafi hai. But then now when I look up and I look around, there's a lot of importance and weightage given to perception building, given to creating your own brand, and I think that's something that I hadn't accounted for at all when I started out. And I don't just think that this is something we're dealing with as actors. I think that youngsters, people from different professions, I think that they all have to take into account the change that social media has brought about in our culture and society.
So if I had to ask you to describe brand Janhvi at this point in time in your life, what's the one line? How would you describe yourself?
I really don't know. I think I myself am still discovering it. I don't think I can put myself into a category. I think malleable maybe. I think I can be whatever you want me to be. I don't know what do you all think? I don't know what I am.
Is
I don't
she
know
versatile? Let's give her a round of applause for the fact that we've seen her actually do so many things at this young age.
That's sweet.
Absolutely, because I think versatility shouldn't be taken for granted, whichever area of work you're in. I also want to speak to you a bit about the fact that, you know, we both come from Bombay, and when you step out in Bombay, there is no escaping Janhvi Kapoor, at least if you pop up on social media. Delhi obviously is a very different ballgame altogether. But the minute you open Instagram, and just for anybody sitting here in the audience, when they start seeing photographers chasing you, you also need to be courteous enough, you also need to be polite enough, you also need to know that they're doing their job. And then you also need to find the balance of drawing that line to know where that too much could probably transgress into your personal space. Over the last few years, how have you mastered this art of balancing the sanctity of your personal space? Because that truly is a wit that you can't learn somewhere.
I don't know. I think each to their own. I think for me, what I've realized is there's always been that I'd like to, I mean, I hope this doesn't sound disconnected or arrogant, but I think that extra sense of pressure, ke, I know people are looking to point a finger at me. So if I'm smiling too much one day in front of my gym or wherever the paps have got me, then it's always like, dekho kitni eager, kitni desperate hai. If I'm having a bad day and I just like, I've got a huge pimple on my face and I want to look down and just walk in and like start my shoot or get it over with, then it's like, kitni ghamandi hai. So you just have to learn that, I mean, in the papers today, in the trash tomorrow, it really doesn't matter. Opinions don't last. What lasts is your work. What lasts is what you think of yourself. So all of these things are non-tangible. So I take it for what it is. I mean, it's great that I'm getting attention. Everyone loves attention. But you can't take it to your head. And relevance isn't permanent, and whatever attention I'm getting today at the start, it was because of my parents. Even now, a great deal of it is because of, I guess, the family that I'm born into, and maybe a little bit now because of, I'd like to think and hope because of the work that I'm doing, but that's what it comes down to. It comes down to the work. It doesn't come down to like the shorts that I wore to the gym. Those are not the kind of things I want to be known for.